Okay, so good afternoon and have a blessed Sunday, everyone. So today our discussion focus on strategic project identification and situational analysis. So strategic project identification and situational analysis is a critical starting point in effective management and leadership because it determines what problems or opportunities deserve organizational attention and why they matter. In a resource constrained environment, whether in business, government, or non-profit organizations, leaders cannot pursue every idea. Now, this topic helps decisions makers distinguish between projects that are merely operational concerns and those that are truly strategic, meaning they align with long-term goals, mission, and sustainability. At its core, no, strategic project identification answers three fundamental questions. What is happening? Why is happening? Why is it happening? And what should we do about it? Situational analysis provides the evidence-based foundation for answering this question. It involves scanning both the internal environment, such as resources, capabilities, systems, and people, and the external environment, such as market condition, regulations, competition, and stakeholders. Without this analysis, project risk being reactive, misaligned, or unsustainable. So in practice, many project failures are not due to poor execution, but due to poor project selection. Organizations sometimes rush into initiative because of trends, pressure, or assumptions, rather than a strategic need. No? Strategic project identification ensures that proposed projects are justified, prioritized, and supported by data, while situational analysis ensures that decisions are grounded in reality rather than in vision alone. At this point, I will now give the floor to our presenter who will discuss strategic project identification and situational analysis in greater detail, including the framework, the tools, the practical approaches used in real organizational setting. Please feel free to take note of points you may want to question or clarify as we will synthesize the discussion afterward. Go ahead, sir.
So thank you, sir. So with the permission of the doc mates and sir, permission to proceed, sir.
Okay.
Okay, so I am the scheduled discussion for today. So I will be discussing strategic project identification and situation analysis. So as an objective to my presentation, the first one is to define first what is strategic planning, strategic project identification, then explain the purpose and components of situational analysis. Apply analytical tools such as the SWOT, the PESTEL, the problem tree, the stakeholders analysis. Identify priority on an and also with just one example of a review of a Philippine case study. Okay. Illustrating the process. So as an introduction to my presentation, so what is strategic project identification? So it says here, strategic project identification is the systematic process of selecting development projects that first address priority problems, support organizational mission and goals, and are feasible and sustainable. And also, it is not like doing a simple project, but at least we maximize the impact and public value. And it ensures that resources, policies, and interventions are aligned with strategic direction. So here in my introduction, I can see to it that I think kaya pala nagdo-doctoral ang mga ating mga executives and managers as a promotion, related to their promotion, because I think that they must know this one because in the issues surrounding the Philippines right now, and and when I am doing this report, if they are only following this one, we will not have a problem with regards to the projects. Okay, so again, when we say addressing priority problems, again, as we can see during the kung sino man ang ating manalo as a president of the Philippines, of course, during his first SONA, okay, the strategic development plan will be mentioned on his first State of the Nation address, just like in the President Duterte time, wherein he mentioned the build programs. That's why it is his priority projects, or when we say priority, it is his flagship projects. Okay, so the next slide is why strategic project identification matters. First, this one, avoid random or politically motivated projects. So when I see this one, and I have heard of the issues surrounding, lalo na po ang ating flood projects, why is it that we result into that one if we are studying this strategic planning identification? I hope the National Economic Development Authority knows this one. And also ensures projects response to real community needs. That's why, as I've said a while ago, the project of the strategic project of the administration, just like what President Marcos said during his first SONA, is the build better more, and also with regards to the housing and the food security. So that's his strategic plan. And also, of course, enhances transparency and accountability. This one maximizes return on public funds. So then improves governance and service delivery. So as you can see, why it does matter is these 5 factors. I think those managers, those congressmen who are uh, proposing our national budget must stick to this one because this is very important. So as a key principles, first is the evidence-based decision making. And this one is very important also, the stakeholders participation, not only those people who are then national local planning formation. Sir, not yet, sir. I am reporting because our classmate, Docmate Bautista, is in Cotabato right now and he is on the plane. Papunta pa lang po dito eh na-delayed po kaya hindi po siya umabot. That's why I am doing this report.
Okay, sige sir.
Okay po. Then alignment with the strategic plans, sustainability, inclusiveness, and equity. This one, the feasibility and cost effectiveness. So as you can see here, the key principles is very, I believe that all of our upper echelon in the government, okay, knows this one. Okay, so it is very basic for them. But then again, we result into, mamaya na po natin pag-usapan ng konti. Then, situational analysis. So we define what is situational analysis. It says here that situational analysis is a comprehensive assessment of current conditions, challenges, capacities, and opportunities. It answers what is happening. So I believe that also this one was being said a while ago by our sir, that why is it happening? Who is affected? What resources exist? And what opportunities and constraints shape our choices. Okay, so again, so with regards, there is a saying on our in the uniform services, okay, wherein we are calling it that the situation dictates, wherein any project, any activity, we must uh, first see to it what is the current condition or the situation at hand. Situational analysis framework is first the environmental scanning or the PASTEL, the internal organizational assessment, the stakeholder analysis, needs assessment, the problem tree analysis, the gap analysis, the risk analysis, and I will be mentioning one by one in my next slide, wherein it says here the PESTEL analysis, which is the acronym for political, economic, social, technological, environmental, and legal. And for this factor, there are some guide questions wherein if a certain situation, we must be complied with laws, policies, and governance issues. And with regards to economic, we must see to it that we answer the economic trends, the inflation, the market condition. And also with regards to social, we must consider the demographics, education, culture, and behavior. So this one, the technological, we must see to it, we answer the questions with regards to the innovation, the ICT capacity, and the automation. In the environmental side, guide question should be the climate, the natural hazards, and ecological risk. And with legal, of course, the regulations, the compliance, and the institutional mandate. So the PESTEL, okay, which is the acronym for this, with the guiding questions we make. Okay. Then the second one is the SWOT analysis, wherein it says here, it assesses the internal and the external factors in the organization. So it says here that your strengths come from your internal capabilities and your weaknesses is internal limitations. Opportunities come from favorable elements and the threats are external risk or pressures. In the stakeholder analysis, the number 3, it identifies stakeholders, interests, and influence power. And the potential support or resistance, visual tools used are power interest grid, influence mapping, and stakeholder matrix. And the problem tree analysis breaks down core issues into first the core problem, the causes, the effects or the consequences, and it is used to convert into an objective tree for a project development. So when you are doing such activity or a project, you must consider this tree and you will be having your objective. Why is it you are proposing a certain project? The needs assessment, it determines what people need, want, and lack. Priority gaps in services, and the urgency and magnitude of the problem. The methods to be used is first, across the surveys, which is very useful right now. We can do it manually or by the use of technologies para po mas mabilis. Then focus group discussions, just like doing a dissertation or a project. The key informant interviews and the secondary data review. The gap analysis, it compares the current state and the desired future state. It identifies capacity gaps, resource gaps, policy gaps, and service delivery gaps. By comparing these two, at least you will know what is your future state when doing such activity or a plan, proposed plan. So you compare right now if it is from food security, for example, what the Marcos has promised us, the Marcos administration has promised us, we're in his desired future that we will be having a 20 pesos per kilo rice. So I think they have identified this one and we will be going into their desired future, 2028, I believe. So let's wait and see. So sa risk analysis naman po, it assesses first the probability risk, the impact of risk mitigation measures, and the risk management plans. Risk includes political, of course. We all know that this is very important and this is very influential in all of the government operations, not only in government operations, but also in the non-governmental organization. And also the financial, yes, because as of now, we can see that we all know that we are a fiscal deficit or budget deficit for the next year. But then again, the Congress and the executive has proposed 6.7 trillion peso while we are only we have a proposed na pera which is I think it is 4.3 trillion, so deficit na po tayo kagad. And the environmental, of course, we must consider what will be happening with regards to environmental because this is a world issue. It is included in the SDG, wherein every country in the world must protect its environment, the operational, and the socio-cultural. So strategic project identification process. So we go into the step by step. First, establish strategic alignment. Step 1, wherein project must align with first, of course, the vision and mission. This is the first thing that when you are proposing a budget, if you go to the DBCC or the Budget Coordinating Council, they will be asking you if your projects and plans align with your vision and mission. That's why all of the agencies in the government has their own vision and mission. The national development goals. So what is the national development goals? So when we say, as I've said earlier, during the time of former president, wherein the development goals is the BBB or the build, build, build. So all agencies and instrumentalities in the government has aligned their projects and APPs and PMPPs with the strategic plan of former president. Then this one, the local development plans, the CLUP and the AIP, the annual investment plan and the comprehensive land use program. It's not only that you have proposing kung ano lang yung maisip mo, but then again, when I attended the program CLUP at Caloocan, okay, there is a plan already with regards to the land use in the, I think, for 10 to 15 years or in long term. Organizational mandates. Okay, so what are the mandates of each agency? Okay, it's either, for example, you are a DPWH. What is your mandate? Your mandate is to build bridges, capital outlays. But then again, you have no, what do you call this? You don't have to uh, allot a certain funds with regards to education because your mandates, yun lang po ang pupunduhan ng gobyerno. So the step 2, you identify the priority problems. First, the most important one, most especially to us when we are in the uniform service, we have to uh, identify the situation. First, which problem are urgent? So we all know that there are too many problems here in our country, but then again, which problem are urgent and need to be analyzed or need to be prioritized? So which affects the most people? So which are within the organization's mandate and also which have feasible solutions. In step 3, we will be having generating a project options. First is the type of projects, the infrastructure, first capital outlays, social services such as MAIC, AKAP, health educations. This one, the ICT and digitalization, which is, I believe that this is very important to us. I believe when I have applied for optional retirement, this is one of the projects of PBBM. This is one of his flagships. Okay, because this is very urgent for me because I think it was 2023 or 2024 when we have been hacked by China, yung PhilHealth, the DICT, and the Coast Guard. That's why the PBBM administration is prioritizing this digitalization, economic development, and environmental protection. So institutional strengthening. Then step 4 is screening and prioritizing projects. Criteria for prioritization. So we must see to it the relevance, the impact, the feasibility, the cost effectiveness, the sustainability, the equity, and the risk level. Tools used will be the project prioritization metrics and the multi-criteria analysis. So step 5, we will be conducting a feasibility assessment wherein the dimensions will be the technical feasibility, the viability economically, the social acceptability, environmental sustainability, institutional capacity, the legal feasibility. So we must take, when we are conducting a feasibility assessment, we must consider these factors. Saan ka na? Nawala. Okay, these factors. Then step 6 is development concept notes, wherein the content is just like doing a what do you call this, a project. So we have the title, the rationale, the objectives, components, the beneficiaries, the budget, and financing, and expected outcome. So you will be handling this to those people on the hierarchy. So the final selections and approval, of course, kahit anong project that you are doing, still the approval comes from the boss. So it is done by, of course, the executives. the development council. So we have the NEDA, we have the regional development councils, and the planning committees in the local government units. They have their planning committees and the local special bodies. So as an example, I will be showing to you a Philippine case study wherein identifying a strategic plan, a strategic project in Philippine municipality. So a fourth-class municipality faces rising youth unemployment, digital divide, limited job opportunities, and low ICT capacity among MSMEs. So situational analysis results, so this is very common naman po, lalo na po itong digital divide, wherein in the rural areas, mahina po talaga ang internet. Not if we would compare here at NCR. So this is a perennial problem when this is a perennial problem when they introduce technology here in the Philippines, that these telecommunication companies are not prioritizing rural areas with regards to the internet. So situational analysis results, PESTEL. Okay, so kanina nakapan na po natin dito is they identified the technological lag and poor infrastructure. The SWOT, we have a strong youth population but weak digital readiness. So strength and weaknesses, it has been identified. In the problem tree, we have the lack of ICT skills that result in low employability and rising poverty. So kanina yung core problems, and then ito na po yun. Ito yung tree. So stakeholders analysis is that we need the local government unit, the TESDA, the DICT, schools, and medium and MSMEs. So resulting strategic projects, based on analysis, possible projects include first, LGU Digital Skills Training Center, MSME ICT Modernization Support Program, the Youth ICT Scholarship Program, and the Municipal E-Governance Platform Development. So these are the possible projects. Prioritizing outcome or prioritizations outcome includes the LGU selects digital skills training. So dito po, okay, namili na po tayo kung ano yung pwede. So ang napili po, wala, is the LGU Digital Skills Training Center. So the LGU selects DSTC or the Digital Skills Training Center because it is high impact on employability. We have the low cost because we will be partnering with TESDA, and TESDA is offering a no payment course. And also it will have a high community support, and it will be aligning with the national digitalization goals. Sample project concept is that digital skills training objectives, train 1,000 youth annually. Objective, so we do have an objective already, reduce unemployment by 20% and increase MSME digital adoption. Components, facility construction, ICT equipment procurement, curriculum development, and TESDA certified training. So it will be having a budget of almost an 18 million, and the implementing partners which was been identified is the LGU, the DICT, the TESDA, and also the non-government organization. As a summary, situational analysis is the backbone of strategic project identification. It use evidence-based, participatory, and systematic tools. Project must align with strategic goals and community needs. Prioritization ensures efficient resources allocation. And real-world cases show how analysis lead to sustainable decision. So, as a parting point, when I was doing this lecture presentation, and I am comparing it, why do we have these issues that we don't have a clear project? Let's say the flood control, why is it that we have flood control every year, flood control projects wherein we can do it once and it is aligned with other LGUs? Because I have heard from some of the engineers that the flood control of Quezon City doesn't align with Manila. That's why we do have a problem, and we are just doing is a band-aid solution. And also I have heard during the BICAM the budget deliberation from Senator Win Gatchalian that a certain project is being done on that year, and also it is already it has been given a budget for beautification, or it is a double project. Why is it that they don't have this kind of analysis when doing such projects in the Philippines? If these people has this knowledge, I hope that we will be not having these issues anymore. So that's only, sir. So my lecture presentation is done. Salamat po sa marami.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so again, strategic project identification begins with recognizing a gap between the current state and the desired future state of an organization. This gap may appear as declining performance, no, unmet customer needs, operational inefficiencies, compliance issues, or new growth opportunities. So a project becomes strategic when addressing this gap contributes directly to organizational goals such as competitiveness, service quality, efficiency, or long-term resilience. Situational analysis strengthens this process by providing a structured understanding of the environment in which the organization operates. No? Internally, leaders examine strengths, weaknesses, resources, culture, and systems. And externally, they analyze market trends, competitors, regulatory requirements, economic conditions, and stakeholders' expectation. Tools, as our presenter discussed, such as SWOT analysis, PESTEL, and stakeholder analysis are commonly used not as an academic exercises, but as a practical decision support tools. A realistic example can be seen in a retail company operating in large mall. Let's say, for example, management notices declining sales and high employee turnover. So instead of immediately launching a marketing campaign, leadership conducts a situational analysis and discover that competitors have adopted digital payment systems and data-driven promotions, while the company still relies on manual processes. The strategic project identified is not simply increase sale, but rather digital transformation of sale and customer engagement system. So strategic projects identification also requires prioritization. Not all problems should become projects, and not all projects can be implemented at once. Leaders must evaluate urgency, impact, feasibility cost, and alignment with strategy. This prevents organizations from overloading themselves with initiatives that dilute focus and exhaust resources. So another key insight is that situational analysis is not a one-time activity. No? Environments change rapidly due to technology, policy shifts, and market behavior. A strategic project must therefore be revisited and reassessed regularly. So what was strategic last year may no longer be relevant today, and new risks or opportunities may emerge that require adjustment. So human factors play an important role in this process. Strategic projects affect people, employees, customer, partners, and communities. So effective situational analysis consider organizational readiness skills, resistance to change, and leadership capacity. Ignoring these factors often lead to implementation failure, even if the project is strategically sound on paper. From leadership perspective, strategic project identification reflects decision quality because leaders who rely solely on instinct may overlook critical risk, while those who depend excessively on data without context may miss strategic nuance. No? So the balance between analysis and judgment is what distinguishes effective strategic leaders from reactive managers. So in public sector, especially, or institutional setting, situational analysis is especially important because projects involve public funds, accountability, and multiple stakeholders. So strategic projects must respond not only to organizational goal, but also to legal mandates, social impact, and public value. And this makes rigorous analysis even more essential. So therefore, strategic project identification and situational analysis ensures that organizations do the right projects, not just projects done right. They create clarity, alignment, and purpose, allowing organizations to invest time, money, and effort where it truly matters. When practiced consistently, this process transforms project management from a technical activity into a strategic leadership function. Okay. Then, first, okay. So I give more emphasis on a government perspective, no? In a government perspective. Since our topic, focus on strategic project, and identification and situational analysis, in public administration, strategic project identification is not simply about choosing projects that are innovative or popular, but about selecting initiatives that create public value, respond to legal mandates, and address real societal needs. Unlike the private sector kasi, where profitability is the primary driver, public project must be justified in terms of equity, accountability, transparency, and long-term social impact. This makes project identification is in a governance decision, not merely a management task. Situational analysis plays, of course, a critical role because public administration operate in complex environments shaped by laws, limited resources, laging sinasabi, and diverse stakeholders. Before proposing a project, administrator must understand the current situation, what problem exists, who is affected, what resources are available, and what constraint must be respected. Without this analysis, public projects risk becoming symbolic, duplicative, or unsustainable. In the Philippine setting, situational analysis often involves examining internal conditions such as institutional capacity, budget ceilings, personnel competencies, and existing systems, alongside external factors such as national government policy, audit rules, political leadership policy or priorities, and citizen expectation. Let's say, for example, a local government unit planning, a digital governance project must assess not only technology readiness but also staff skills, internet access in barangays, and data privacy compliance. So, strategic project in the identification and public administration must also be evidence-based. Data from development indicators, audit reports, citizen feedback, and performance reviews provide the factual basis for deciding which projects matter most. And this prevents decisions making driven solely by political pressure or crisis response and helps ensure that projects address root causes rather than symptoms. Di po ba? A realistic example in an LGU facing recurring flooding, sabi nga ni Sir kanina, a purely reactive response would be repeated road repairs after every storm. Through situational analysis, the LGU may identify that poor drainage planning, informal settlements, and climate risk are the real issues. So the strategic project, therefore, shifts from repeated repairs to an integrated flood management and community relocation program, more complex but more impactful. Another important dimension is stakeholder analysis because public projects affect multiple groups, citizens, civil servants, private partners, and oversight bodies. Strategic project identification must consider who benefits, who bears the cost, and who may resist the project. Ignoring stakeholder dynamics often leads to delays, opposition, or implementation failure, even when the project is technically sound. Public administration must also weigh legal and ethical consideration. Project must align with laws, regulations, procurement rules, and audit standards. Situational analysis helps identify compliance risk early, preventing future disallowances, administrative cases, or public trust issues. In this sense, situational analysis protects both the institution and the public trust. Unlike one-time planning exercises, situational analysis in public administration should be continuous. Social conditions, political leadership, and fiscal priorities change over time. So, strategic projects must therefore be reviewed and adjusted to remain relevant. A project that was strategic under one administration may require redesign under another without losing sight of long-term development goals. So, strategic project identification and situational analysis in public administration ensure that scarce public resources are invested wisely. Ano po, they help public institution move from creative move from reactive governance to strategic governance, where projects are chosen not because they are easy, visible, and demanded, but because they are necessary, feasible, and beneficial to our society. When practiced effectively, these processes strengthens public trust, institutional credibility, and development outcomes. Okay?